Welcome to the Veterans Voice, where we highlight programs and services that support our veterans. I'm Tim Stroud, and this is Colton, the Wonder Dog. When a veteran transitions into a civilian life, the first thing on their mind is often, how do they start that new career? And that choice can have a huge impact on other areas of their life as well. Dr. Diana Dale joins us to discuss how veterans can access resources to create the best work and life balance. Welcome to the show, Dr. Dale.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. What challenges do veterans face when they make that transition from the military into a civilian world?
Well, there are a number of challenges. I think the first thing on their mind is what's worth most doing in this next stage of my life. They may not have been totally satisfied by the time they separated with their military occupational specialty. They've outgrown it. They're looking for something more, but many times they're not sure what that is. And so we at Worklife Institute have, for 30 years, we've been serving the military and civilian communities of Houston, and we have been helping people really explore blue sky, the entire landscape of what has most meaning, gives them passion, a sense of direction and purpose, and is upwardly sustainable, never just a job.
Right, and I love the work that you and your team do at the Worklife Institute. And for those who are just now, that are just now tuning in, they may think, well, wow, that's a new organization, but you've helped pioneer so many things. How long has the Worklife Institute been around?
Well, I founded it back in 1988 when Houston was just coming out of the last big downturn and rocky road of the oil and gas crunch, which also created not just a lot of layoffs, but people having to reconfigure what they did and how they did it with new technology.
Right.
So we created a full spectrum career transition program that was on an executive outplacement level. So they get the very best practices for the civilian community uses as well as military, and be able to explore new avenues and also the education and certifications they might need to be recognized and get an upwardly sustainable job in the civilian or the federal or state sectors.
Well, I love it. And so if you would walk people through it, so when they walk in through the doors here on the 10th floor, right?
Eighth. We're top.
Oh,
we're still at top.
Still at top. And the 8th floor, when they come in and they're greeted, it is a warm environment. It's not a cold, crisp environment to where they feel alien. You made it very warming in there. In fact, a couple times a month, you guys have like a lot of snacks from Panera.
Yeah, Panera Bread has a military ministry with a couple of retired veterans who bring pastries and their bread products around to various of the veteran service organizations. And we're the central repository for that.
Okay.
So we distribute it to our veterans and family members and then distribute it to a number of the veteran service organizations, particularly the transitional living people.
Right.
So once a month at least, there's a huge largesse of pastries and bread that cover our
I'm
kitchen.
coming down there for that again.
Oh, it's good. And we freeze them so that you can raid the deep freeze the entire month.
Perfect. And after the break, we're going to learn how partnerships in the community are helping veterans create their best life.
HCC. So many reasons, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
I've seen people's lives change just by attending a class at HCC.
Some of them might not have the financial means to go to a four-year university. That doesn't make them any less quote-unquote smart than the kids who go to a four-year school.
HCC is easy to get to. It's easy to apply and easy to become a part of.
It gave me so much confidence.
Once you finish your 2 years there, you can transition into a four-year university or go into the workforce.
It's affordable, it's accessible, it changes lives.
HCC. So many classes, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. We're continuing our discussion with Dr. Diana Dale of the Worklife Institute. Dr. Dale, if you would describe for some of the partnerships that the Institute has forged, because you operate under a mentality like stone soup, like everybody brings something to the table.
Exactly. Well, we work with a broad, interconnected network of veteran service organizations, other professional organizations in town in the VA. And so those areas that are not our core competency, we know who's the best practices and we can refer them, particularly for career clothing, for supportive services like housing, utility assistance. We work with the Veteran Service Officer for Harris County, the Texas Veterans Commission, the VA, and a number of best practices veterans in the community, so that they always get a warm handoff and coordination among the veteran service organizations.
And I love that. And
Yeah.
speaking of warm, I've had
Yeah.
many a warm cup of coffee in your offices.
Oh, absolutely.
And you've shared with me some of the success stories. If you would, share one of those with our audience today.
Well, probably the closest one that was a real surprise was we were at Red, White, and Blue
Okay.
as a veteran service organization. That was several weeks ago, and one of our veterans was at the table talking to us when a prospective employer came by.
Oh.
And we introduced them, and they went off and had lunch, and before we know it, he was hired for a management position.
Wow.
Before he even left the job fair.
That's
And
incredible.
That's unusual, but that was really, it warmed our hearts.
Yeah, and you also have some of the employers that come by, and you also teach some of
Right.
the soft skill classes at the Worklife Institute.
Right. We have a number of prospective employers who come by, recruiters for different agencies as well as employers, and they also send us electronically their job openings every day. So any given day we have a big pile of jobs that are particularly targeted for veterans' families that they really are looking for one of our clients. We also have had remarkable success. We're very happy with all of our clients who have worked really hard. About 80% of our jobs that people get are in the white-collar professions, entrepreneurship, or skilled trades. So they're upwardly sustainable and meaningful and satisfying. And about 75 to 80% of our clients each year by the end of the year have met their program goals.
Okay.
So we're really happy about that. The other thing that makes our program really work is that of the 75% of the people who come in, particularly for career, 75% of them use supportive personal transition or family counseling, legal or financial advisement, and another 25% come in for that. So 80% of our clients are removing barriers that would otherwise keep them from meeting their goals. And the other thing we offer is a series of 2-hour career transition workshops in every aspect of landing that perfect career. And then we also have 2 sets of longer courses in entrepreneurship.
Ooh, love that course,
Oh, it's
yes.
wonderful. And we work with the Small Business Administration and Texas Veterans Commission for that. And then also professional mediation training for conflicts and negotiation. And both are certification tracks. So we're very happy with what we offer. The other thing, and you had mentioned that to me before, is that because we have a large hospitality-based resource center, we bring in service providers every month for Veteran Service Day right on campus, one being the Lone Star Legal Aid, the next being the VA, the next Baker Ripley.
Right, and Doc, I would love to hear more about that. Sadly, we're out of time on this one, but after the break, we're going to learn how Houston Community College works to make life a little easier when veteran students hit a bump in the road.
HCC. So many locations. So little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
One of the objectives we had with moving from centers of delivery to centers of excellence was to strengthen our relationships with industry across Houston. The whole idea of the Center of Excellence was to create an ecosystem where our partnerships are so tight that we can quickly develop programs that support industry, create jobs here in Houston, and then grow the economy and keep us as a global leader in many areas.
Welcome back to the Veteran's Voice. Any student can encounter personal challenges that make taking some time away from school necessary. But veteran students often have additional steps they need to take in the process. Capri Thomas is here to tell us more. Capri, I remember when I was stationed at Fort Hood, I was doing my duty and I was taking a few classes. Then I got orders to deploy to Iraq, so I had to withdraw from classes. And I know that's one way that most of our veterans don't have to deal with that anymore. But is there a reason why they should withdraw from a class?
Well, if that was a situation with our veterans, they definitely want to let their instructors know, but also the registrar department knows, as well as the VA department, so we can, in the VA system, let the VA know that you're not just dropping classes, but you're actually have to deploy. So then when you return, let us know, so then you can get back in those, we can add you back in those classes, the classes that you were.
Gotcha. And that would be applicable for our Guard and Reserve veterans, right?
Correct. Yes,
Excellent.
if they were deployed, and they definitely let every department know, and then upon their return, then we'll try to get them back in on the same steps that they took, classes that they were in before they left.
And as we know, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Sometimes when you withdraw from a class, there's some other repercussions that happen. Tell us about some of those.
Well, a lot of times veterans, they feel that they just drop classes without,
Heck yeah.
Yeah, just because maybe they don't like the instructor or it's getting a little difficult for them. So a lot of times what happens is when they drop class, because they already receive their housing allowance or book stipend from the VA has already paid you. So if you drop a class, a lot of times the VA will prorate it and you'll end up having a bill with the VA. So we do encourage veterans, before they drop a class, to definitely reach out to the Veterans Department so we can explain the situation to them, or explain, what could potentially happen before they make that decision of dropping classes.
Right, and you know what, and funny, well, not too funny of a story. Had this happen to one of my veteran friends. He was going to another school, and he had dropped a class, and he's like, oh, I'll just pick that up in the spring because it was in the fall. And no harm, no foul, right? When he gets to the spring, not enough students signed up for that class.
Oh, wow.
And so what had happened is that he could no longer take his advanced class, the next one, in the process, because he still hadn't fulfilled, we'll call that, Art 101.
Correct.
He couldn't take 102.
Right.
And so now he had to go back and start over, and that put him a full 6 months behind from when he thought he was going to do, which in fact put him a year behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they definitely always want to check with the Veterans Department,
Okay.
just to stay on top of things and making sure before you drop this class, how is it going to benefit me in the long run?
Gotcha. And what other assistance does BMAS provide to help those veterans out?
Well, we do have counseling services. If, say, for instance, you're having a difficult time in class, we do have a counselor on site, Anna Kanat.
Okay.
She can speak with you. There's other counselors on every campus. Also, if you need a tutor, we offer. There's tutors that you can speak to if you're having trouble with classes. Just always be in communication with the different departments here at HCC. We have a lot of opportunities for our veterans if they need assistance.
I love that, because you don't want to be at the last moment. You're like, "Ooh, I'm struggling." Whether you're having a child, or you have a family emergency, or you lost your job, or there's some other transition, you don't want to wait to the very last moment and then like, surprise.
Please don't.
Right.
Because I hear it all the time. I hear veterans, it's 2 weeks left in class. I'm like, oh, I'm struggling. Well, let us know ahead of time.
Right. And if you'd like to know more information on any of the organizations and services that you've seen on the program today, visit our website at hccs.edu/Veterans Voice. For everyone here at HCC TV and everyone at Easter Seals of Greater Houston, thank you for joining us on Veterans Voice.